The mountain lion cub couldn't have been more than 3 months old. Julie saw it trapped on the crumbling ledge, mewling in terror as the rock slide gained momentum above. She didn't think. She just ran. Her hiking boots found purchase on loose scree as she scrambled upward. Behind her, her brother Aaron's voice cracked with panic. "Julie, no! Get back!" But she was already there, scooping the terrified creature against her chest. The mother was nowhere to be seen, probably dead in the initial collapse. The cub's claws dug through her jacket as thunder filled her ears. Julie looked up to see a wall of stone and earth cascading toward them. She curled her body around the small, warm life in her arms. Then there was only darkness. Julie gasped awake to the acrid smell of burning ozone and an alien sky painted in shades of purple and green. Her lungs burned with each breath. The air tasted wrong, too thin, too metallic. She sat up slowly, her head spinning. The ground beneath her was covered in a strange crystalline moss that glowed faintly. In the distance, massive structures rose like broken teeth against the horizon, and the sound of explosions echoed across what appeared to be a battlefield. "What the hell?" she whispered. A shadow fell across her, and Julie scrambled backward. The being standing before her was definitely not human. It stood nearly 7 feet tall, with 4 arms, slate-gray skin covered in bioluminescent patterns, and compound eyes that fractured her reflection into 1,000 pieces. "Human," it said, its voice a harmonious blend of multiple tones. "You should not exist here." Before Julie could respond, a plasma bolt screamed past her head. The alien moved with impossible speed, a shimmering barrier materializing from a device on its wrist. 3 more beings, these ones armored in blood-red carapaces and wielding weapons that looked grown rather than built, advanced from behind a ruined structure. The gray alien, her alien, she found herself thinking absurdly, fired back with a weapon that sang rather than roared. "Can you fight, human? I don't understand what's happening." Understanding is a luxury. Survival is not. It tossed her a small device that adhered to her palm. "Think shield when danger comes. Think blade when opportunity presents itself. Your species has a reputation. Prove it was earned." The attacking creatures charged. Julie's instincts kicked in, the same instincts that had driven her to save the mountain lion cub. She thought shield desperately. And energy erupted from her palm, solidifying into a barrier just as claws raked toward her face. The impact jarred her entire arm, but the shield held. Her companion fought with practiced efficiency, but more enemies were emerging from the rubble. They were being surrounded. Julie noticed a crack in the structure behind the attackers, a weakness, ready to collapse with the right pressure. She thought blade, and felt her other hand burn with heat. A beam of concentrated energy extended from the device, and she swept it toward the compromised wall. Stone and metal crashed down, crushing 2 of the attackers and blocking the path of reinforcements. The gray alien's compound eyes fixed on her. Unexpected. Most translator-borrowed species freeze when first integrated into the convergence war. Translator-borrowed. You died protecting a Kareen cub. The Kareen are our allies. Their debt law required your consciousness be preserved and translated to this battlefield when your body failed. The alien deflected another attack. "I am called Jaemora. I was selected to be your orientation officer, though I expected to be explaining, not fighting alongside you." Julie's mind reeled, but her body kept moving. She had died. She had actually died. And somehow, because she'd saved an alien creature she'd mistaken for a mountain lion, she'd been brought here. More attackers were coming. Jaemora moved closer to her. "The Velkash, these enemies, seek to consume all worlds. They recognize only strength and consumption. The convergence stands against them, but we are losing." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because humans are legends, Julie Chen of Earth. Stories tell of your species' impossible determination, your refusal to yield, your capacity for sacrifice. Jaimora's luminescent patterns pulsed brighter. But stories are only stories until proven true. An explosion rocked the ground. Through the smoke, Julie saw something that made her blood freeze. A massive Velkosh war construct, easily 50 feet tall, was lumbering toward their position. Its multiple limbs ended in weapons that pulsed with destructive energy. Jaimora's stance shifted, becoming resigned. I cannot defeat that, nor can you, but perhaps we can buy time for others to escape. Julie looked at the alien who had given her this second chance at existence. She thought of Aaron, who had probably watched her die. She thought of the mountain lion cub, warm and frightened in her arms. She thought of the choice she'd made on that mountain, the one that had killed her and brought her here. No, Julie said firmly. We're not dying today. Trust me. She ran toward the war construct. Behind her, Jaimora made a sound that the translator interpreted as shocked laughter. Julie had always been good at finding weaknesses. The construct's legs were heavily armored, but the joints glowed with exposed energy conduits. She slid beneath its first strike, her shield absorbing the shockwave, and drove her energy blade into the knee joint of its lead leg. The construct stumbled. Jaimora, understanding her strategy, targeted the opposite leg. Together, they danced around the massive war machine. Two insects bringing down a giant through precision and coordination. When the construct finally crashed down, its own weight tearing it apart, Julie stood panting on its chassis. Jaimora climbed up beside her. The stories did not do your species justice, Jaimora said quietly. What you did on your world, shielding that cub with your last breath, that was not anomalous behavior for humans, was it? Julie shook her head, looking out across the alien battlefield. We protect things, even when it's stupid, even when it costs us everything. It's just what we do. Then, perhaps, Jaimora's patterns glowed with what Julie was learning to recognize as hope. The convergence has a chance after all. In the distance, more Velkosh forces were approaching. But behind Julie and Jaimora, other convergence fighters were emerging from cover, emboldened by what they'd witnessed. Julie activated her shield and blade again. She had died once protecting life. If this was her second chance, she would spend it the same way. Come on, she said to Jaimora. Let's go prove those stories right. And together, the human and the alien charged back into the war zone. Entre.